Previous video, we described how to train machine learning models using S3 as the external storage. But S3 is a disk-based storage, which is relatively slow. To achieve faster communication in service infrastructure, we use ElastiCache for Memcache as external storage. ElastiCache for Memcache is an in-memory based data store in Amazon AWS. So first we need to create an ElastiCache cluster for Memcache. Here the version of ElastiCache is chosen as 1.5.10, and we need to set up the VPC and the security group when you create the ElastiCache cluster. And by default, the maximal size item size in Memcache is 1 megabyte. Which is infeasible for a large dataset, large model. So to increase this configuration, we can change the setting in the parameter group. So you can find the corresponding parameter group here, and find the configuration max item size, and you can change the number to the maximal number. It's roughly roughly more than 100 megabytes, which is enough for most models. So after setting up the ElastiCache cluster, we can change the configurations in the trigger function and the execution function. So we also provide some example script for training machine model using ElastiCache. Here, example for linear models. So similar as the script for S3 based training, we first set up the location of dataset and dataset type, the number of features, and the number of classes. Then we set up the location of the ElastiCache cluster, the host and pod, which you can find in the ElastiCache panel here, configuration endpoint. The temp bucket and the merge bucket is only name prefixes for the objects stored in ElastiCache, and the following is very similar to the script we described for S3. We set up the model, the optimization algorithm, the synchronization mode, and the number of workers, and other hyperparameters. Okay, so we invoke the execution function using the invoke interface and with the payload. And in the execution function, so here is an example. Here's the execution function for linear models using ElastiCache. So we need to change the handler of this lambda function to be the one we are using, and we need to change the configurations. So set up the VPC and the security group. Make sure that they are the same as the ElastiCache cluster, because you need the execution function to access the ElastiCache cluster. Okay, so after this configuration, you can execute your trigger function, and you can see the logs in CloudWatch.